MC Flux, that's who. No matter where you come from, respect you, our crew. MC Flux is passing through. Sorry. Yeah, I'm Pete Nice. I'm the author of the forthcoming book called Dirty. We've got it on release soon. We've done all the work. It's taken 4 years to put together. And hopefully when you get it, it's a good read. Now, the story come about from when Ronnie was in prison in Wandsworth in 2008. It was serving a 3-year sentence. It was in a bad place. It was at the time where, for the 10 years previous or 10 years leading up, he was struggling with a heroin addiction. And basically, the letters we was writing to each other, it was in a place of repent, if you like, from the letters I was getting back from him. So I haven't seen him for a while. I've seen him now and again, but we weren't as, obviously we was old men now, basically, so I'd moved out the area. So I was still wanting to show my support for him, put the arm around his shoulder kind of thing while he's in there, just telling him that to get his nut down. And basically just have the book as a kind of thing to get his mind off things, more or less. So yeah, that's kind of where the story began. So when he's come out of prison, we kind of sat down with people, sat down with him, sat down with the people at football, people from his past, people that he's done business with, people that he's worked with, and we kind of took off from there. Now, this book here, Ronnie's to Ravers, is by a guy called Stuart Deebill, and I wrote a piece for it for Stuart. Basically got talking to him on Facebook. I think we was talking about the hardcore days and acid house and ecstasy and the ecstasy business that went with it. So more or less done Flux's story in there, kind of highlighted it in there, about the E-trade that was going on. And so that was kind of more or less the blueprint for me to write Flux's book. So we've sat down, obviously recording all the conversations. It was just like just sitting in pubs, in parks, in my house, their house kind of thing, just going through the stories. And so we put it all together. For one, we didn't want to make it a football hooligan book. There's 1,001 football hooligan books, but obviously we put in the stories about his involvement with the firms at Crystal Palace, which was the Nifty 50 and the Dirty 30. So we went through them stories. Obviously it's an overview, it's not a hooligan book, so we put the stories in there. Plus as well, we wanted to kind of tell, like, or let it be known with the other firms who used to say, oh, Palace ain't got no firm, this, that and the other. Of course we knew different from the people we knew, of course, and the involvement that Fluxy had with them. So yeah, those are the stories in there. Also about his time in Brighton. He spent more or less 3 years down there. Chaotic, a train wreck, if you like. It was just madness, his life that he was living down there at the time. But of course, with that, you get the money, the women, and the overindulgence of all kinds of narcotics. And more or less, that story was in there, kind of a dark story that also the music, all through what we've been involved with, from the reggae scene, being in sound systems, building our own sound, which was Young Senator, which was more or less where MC Flux got the tag, where he more or less honed his skills as an MC. Talking about the rare groove parties we used to go to, Soul to Soul, all the car washes, all the funky dreads, when we was all funky dreads and that. Through to the acid house parties, dancing in fields in that beautiful summer of '89, and more or less to when we started going to the hardcore raves like Stearns and in Brighton and Slammers and places like that, Dreamscape and Rain Dance. And more or less when we was in Stearns one night, how we just picked the mic up and just off we went. And more or less that one night in Stearns kind of was a catalyst for him being a MC and touring the world basically, and again living a high life. That's what he's been, more or less. He's always been up there, always has plenty of money about, and of course with that, with plenty of money and as I say, idle. What is it? Idle. Devil makes use for idle hands, whatever it is, whatever the terminology is. More or less of how he just overindulged, more or less. So we've done all them stories like that. Talking about him with the Moving Shadow lot, with Colin Dale in touring all over the world. More or less, he's been to LA, Miami, all over Europe, Australia. He's been to Russia and places like that, and just more or less telling that story. So yeah, that's how all the stories come about. We've finished the book, and the book's ready. Any day now, I should have a proof copy landing on my doorstep to review, and then after that, I'll be sharing it with everybody. Hopefully, we're going to put on a launch party so everyone can come down, have a little party, have a beer with us, pat us on the back, tell us what a good job we've done. Hopefully, well, a good job that I've done, because I wrote it basically, but because Fluxy, he can talk a good talk, but him putting pen to paper is different kettle of fish. So yeah, so hopefully we'll be sharing it all over the social medias, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, cheers for that. Facebook, Twitter, the usual social medias. We've also got a funding site we've set up. Thanks to my wife, she suggested it, that we put just put a thing together on a site called Indiegogo, where if people want to help us along, help with the publishing, help with putting on the book launch and getting a good PR on it. Because we've taken the self-publishing route, we're working with a self-publishing company called Memoirs Publishing with a guy called Chris Newton and the staff down there. And also we have a guy called Michael Eastwood at Mastermind PR that will be running all the PR for us. So hopefully we'll get the good buzz going, and like I said, we'll have a book launch for it where everybody can come down and have a good time, get some signed copies from Flux and myself, and yeah, hopefully when you all get the book and you read it, that it's a good story and you will enjoy it. Thank you.